we are coming to the close of our 2 days of TCBES Professional Master's Internship presentations. Our final speaker of the day, Christine, comes to us from American Samoa. She conducted her undergraduate at Hilo, and although this is going to be a fish coastal talk, her undergraduate degree was in agriculture. And so she went from the terrestrial environment to our marine environment. And it was quite a journey for her, for us, and with full faith that she would be able to jump into that, the whole new world of water and wildlife from the animal science background that she had. So with that, I'd like to bring her up here for her to share her journey of her internship.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for that great introduction, Lisa. My name is Christine Tominiko, and I will be presenting on my internship with the Department of Marine and Wildlife Resources in American Samoa. Trevor Kaitu'u is my mentor, and Lisa Canale was my advisor. I obtained this internship through my scholarship with the Western Pacific Regional Fisheries Management Council. And one of the board members had recently been appointed as the director of the Department of Marine and Wildlife Resources, Nathan Ilawa. And so he reached out and offered me an opportunity to fill a temporary position within the department. And I took up that opportunity. First, I think it's important to consider the location of the internship and how it provided a unique geographic and cultural context that influenced my work and overall experience. United States, it became a U.S. territory through visa cessions signed by local chiefs, beginning with the main island Hilo on April 17 in 1900s. Raised and to be back home for an opportunity such as this just felt like such a blessing. Samoa, as you can see on this map, there's a vast body of water that surrounds the archipelago. Samoans have a profound existential reliance on the ocean, not only for its economy, but also for its cultural identity. Because of this, it is really important that our marine resources are managed properly so that they can continue to sustain the lives of the local community. So I'll be talking a little bit about the department itself. The Department of Marine and Wildlife Resources, or also known as DMWR, is dedicated to the conservation, management, and sustainable development of the territory's marine and wildlife resources through research, education, and enforcement. The DMWR has been active in conducting monitoring programs since the 1990s, when the local government made participation in their data collection programs mandatory for local vendors. They are also the primary department for managing aquatic wildlife resources within the territory. With that in mind, With that in mind, I entered this internship eager to learn how these practices have been sustained and carried out over the years. The discussion of what the internship would entail started throughout August 2025, and later I flew home at the beginning of September and met with the director to discuss the terms of the internship. The onboarding process took some time to initiate, but it was ultimately completed successfully. Before actually starting this internship, I had already been told the terms of the internship. The department referred to this as a work agreement, which functioned as a formal contract outlining my deliverables. Upon completion of each deliverable, a stipend was issued, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to receive compensation for my work during this internship. My work agreement encompassed a range of responsibilities, as you can see listed, including representing the department at various events and participating in coral reef monitoring efforts, as well as documentation, composition, preparation, and drafting of department documents. And then 6 days after I officially began my internship, the United States experienced a government shutdown in early October. And as a U.S. territory, American Samoa was also affected. The Department of Marine and Wildlife Resources, MWR, relies heavily on federal grants to fund its programs. And as a result, the shutdown caused certain initiatives to be delayed and others to be canceled, leading to the removal of certain deliverables. As you can see with the red stripe through, the first 3 deliverables were no longer part of my contract. These deliverables were mainly about the planned biosecurity workshop that was planned to happen in American Samoa, October 2025. As a result, my work agreement was revised, and an addition of new deliverables were added. As you can see, these are my newly added responsibilities and deliverables, and these deliverables focus more on invasive species. Before discussing the specifics of my responsibilities, I would like to provide a brief overview of the department's organizational structure. The Department of the Marine and Wildlife Resources consists of 7 different divisions. First, we have aquatic division, we have coordination, we have boating access, enforcement, fisheries, wildlife, and the Coral Reef Advisory Group. The Coral Reef Advisory Group is also known as CRAG, which was established in 1998. It is a collaboration of local agencies and federal partners, including NOAA, aimed at managing coral reefs in American Samoa. They are supported and funded by the NOAA Coral Reef Conservation Program, or CRCP. In American Samoa, there is a CRAG team that I work closely with, and at the time, it only consisted of 3 people. We have first Trevor Kaitu'u, which is my mentor, who was the outreach education coordinator, but now he is the full CRAG coordinator. Then next we have Munoz, she is the benthic ecologist, and she leads most of the coral monitoring programs within CRAG. So we have Riley Darby, which is a coral fellow. My role within this department fell under a CRAG position as an invasive species coordinator. My roles and responsibilities are listed here, and I will discuss each one in detail as we go on with my presentation, so please bear with me. My responsibilities prior to the government shutdown was assisting with the planning of American Samoa 2025 Biosecurity Workshop. This workshop was originally scheduled for October 2025. As part of this, I supported logistics, attended planning meetings, and if the workshop had occurred, would have prepared a white paper. And this white paper is an in-depth report summarizing the whole event. During the planning, I had the opportunity to propose ideas such as bringing in expertise on dealing with marine debris as an invasive species threat to be part of the workshop, emphasizing the need for discussion, I will also address marine debris in more detail in a later slide. Despite the changes to the schedules, several aspects of my roles and responsibilities remain consistent. My deliverables also included participation in coral reef monitoring activities, with a primary responsibility being assistance in pre-bleaching coral reef flat surveys. And so during my internship, I participated in coral reef monitoring, with the only surveys conducted being pre-bleaching reef flat assessments at the time I was there. Since these corals are shallow water corals, snorkeling was the preferred method and dive was not required. These field surveys can range from 4 to 10 hours, including preparation in the office and spent times at the survey sites. As shown in the first image, a floating device and snorkeling equipment were used as the surveys, again, did not require deep water access. Additional tools such as a GoPro camera and GPS devices were used consistently to document coral health and track reef conditions. The picture in the middle illustrates how visible the corals are during low tide and highlights days that are unsuitable for reef flat surveys as low water levels prevent adequate swimming and photography over the corals. And then the final image on the left shows Nick and Riley are verifying the site coordinates in the water prior to getting in to conduct the survey, even during low tide, they were able to assess the sites to adjust photo loggers. Devices designed to automatically record environmental parameters over time. In this case, the whole loggers measured water quality indicators, including dissolved oxygen, conductivity, salinity, and water level and depth. And I was able to accompany the team on a map here. These are the sites that I had the opportunity to visit, but there are more sites on the island and also in the other American Samoa islands that have been monitored and surveyed. The locations of the sites visited are pinned on the map. There are approximately 7 sites. There are 7 sites marked on the map. As shown, there are more sites on the eastern part of the island, more than in the western. In the western, the primary site was Leone. And we have Islay, Awa, Alto, and Masa and Awa on the eastern side. Oh yeah, Leone, Masa, Awa, Islay, Awa, Alto, and Awa. And this is just to take a better look at the different sites that I visited. The sites are in the water, but these images were taken from the shores of the villages in which the sites were located. At the different sites, we also conducted general mapping. However, environmental conditions such as strong winds and cloudy skies occasionally limited our ability to capture high quality imagery. The drone used for this work was a DJI model camera by Riley Garvey, who also guided me in gaining hands-on experience on flying the drone. These images were collected and later used to create photomosaic maps of the various survey sites, which were created by the Coral Fellow Riley Garvey as well. Another task that I was assigned with was to lead the revision of the dive manual, and this is a legal binding document, so it was essential to ensure that the language remained precise and appropriate. I coordinated with the 10 certified divers that were present in the department to update and improve a manual that had not been revised since 2015. I coordinated with these 10 different certified divers within the department in order to transform an outdated manual After various meetings with the divers to discuss the revisions, it turned out to be more clear and updated, more refined, comprehensive manual that strengthens safety guidance, improving readability, ensuring procedures reflect current diving practices. This document, as you can see, has been reviewed earlier this year in January, and it's still waiting for approval and signature of the director of the department. Most challenging part of this was I wasn't a diver, so when reading the previous manual, I had to consistently ask for help in understanding the terms and terminology of the manual itself. I was also asked to synthesize an evaluation paper of current jurisdictional roles of American Samoan government departments over biosecurity, specifically the ones listed here. We have the Port Administration, Environmental Protection Agency, Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Marine and Wildlife Resources. With this, I contacted the various departments to inquire about any existing rules and regulations related to biosecurity. For my department, I was guided to look at American Samoa Administrative Code, also known as ASAC, which covers harbors and navigation, and also includes regulations for marine inspection and governs activity related to the vessels for operation and related safety regulations within American Samoa. These regulations are often managed or enforced by the Department of Port Administration. These different departments overlap in responsibilities to marine biosecurity, and they are needed to create a comprehensive and synthesized paper. Synthesized paper is important because it goes beyond simply summarizing sources, but it also integrates multiple perspectives to produce a cohesive understanding of the topic. This is an ongoing responsibility that I still have a lot of work to do on and yet to complete. And another one had to coordinate with the Department of Port Administration on existing biosecurity regulations. Doing this, had to coordinate with the Department of the Port Administration. And as you can see over here, it has a Title 20, Chapter 1, which addresses harbors and navigation, as I previously stated before in my last slide. And through this review, I identified there is currently no section specifically addressing marine invasive species. Given the role of port administration, it's critical to include provisions that explicitly address bioquality as a pathway for the introduction of invasive marine species. This challenged me to enter a policy mindset and to train myself to see what's needed and what is required in order to protect our local species. This effort supports broader prevention strategies aimed at reducing the risk of introducing additional invasive species. And this is also an ongoing process. Marine debris. Another responsibility was drafting marine debris as a section as a threat to species and phase concern. I had knowledge of marine debris, but I didn't realize how serious of an issue it can have on marine species. Like I knew of entanglements and things such as, but thanks to a scholar doing my research, I was astonished at what I found out. Marine debris is defined as any manufactured solid material entering the marine environment. Plastic debris in particular, due to its durability and low decomposition rate and abundance, serves as a vector for the spread of invasive species by providing substrate for foul-fouling organisms that can catch and grow on submerged surfaces, such as boats. Marine debris can serve as vectors for spreading and immigrating marine invasive species. The ocean, as we know, is all connected, so it all makes sense that it can carry marine debris across distances and onto foreign shores. So it's important to address these by crafting a section to show that it can pose a threat, be a threat to local species. This is also on. On to editing and formatting the American Samoa Statewide Action Plan. This is a document that has not been updated since almost 10 years. This document contains methods and prioritizes the conservation of wildlife, both terrestrial and marine, within American Samoa. And tackling this project had me taking an interest in oil and other statewide action plans to get inspiration on what I wanted to produce out of this project, not in just terms of aesthetics, but organization, flow, and overall simplicity. But comprehensive in which the information can be easily absorbed by the readers and easily navigated. I mainly use my laptop and Canvas as the main software, which I had to purchase Pro, but the subscription is paying off since I used it to create this presentation as well. And although this is an ongoing process, it will lead to a more refined layout that incorporates a visual layout composition to improve readability and flow, enhancing composition and visual balance for clarity. Aside from my tasks and responsibilities as an invasive species coordinator, I was also blessed with the opportunity to participate and be a part of other department events and activities. I did not expect to have so much fun events and, to the department being very active with its employees. And we had various team building days, which are mandatory assigned days during each month just to update on recent achievements and celebrate them and discuss upcoming important events. So one of the things I went on was coral spawning surveys. I went out with the fisheries division to observe how they did coral spawnings, which were scheduled for late afternoons into the night, which is why these pictures are dark. It's in the nighttime. The initial one was to see if our skills were to standards. I wasn't mandated to, but I took it as an opportunity to get out of the house and get in the water. Another thing that I wasn't mandated to do, but went to was to go to fish and coral class. I don't have a picture of the fish ID classes, but it was a class to help strengthen my knowledge on identifying local fish species. And that's Doug Fenner. He's a coral reef expert that came to talk on the topic of can we save coral reefs. It was fun. Also chose to go to on a boat one day to observe a whale survey with the wildlife team. And I did not see yes. But it was still a thrilling experience to be part of. And I only went on one and it lasted like almost 8 hours. And it was in the middle of the ocean chasing whale sightings. But it's a good thing I don't get seasick. There's also a teacher's workshop that was held by the department so that local teachers from different grade levels had a chance to come and be informed about the services that the department provides and the department roles and responsibilities to the environment. And there's also a coral workshop led by a coral restoration person, Tominiko. She talks about the different methods of restoring corals in our oceans. It's also turtle necropsy led by the wildlife team. And those numbers on the pictures are permit numbers so that I can be permitted to use these pictures within my presentation. So had the opportunity to judge at local schools. I judged at Pacific Horizon Private Elementary and their private high school, and one public high school, Samoa High School. Although I couldn't find the other picture of the Samoa High School group photo, I did find a picture of what they gave me and a certificate. I think that's a bottle of juice. And my plans after this agency, and hopefully do a lot of great things and give back to the community. Yeah. I'd like to take this time to thank everyone on this list. To my mentor, Lisa Canale, who's been with me since a long time. Nathan Ilawa, the director, and so I know, which is the deputy director of DWR itself, Hilo, TCBES. My scholarship was for Pacific Regional Fisheries Management for, management for helping me with my tuition throughout this year. Craig Severance, thank you for coming today to Samoa. Nick DeHamios, Riley Garvey, Paul Tominiko, and just everyone that isn't listed here, but had a great time and helped me make it through this journey to this point in my life. And for that, this is my contact. Mahalos. Two important factors of biosecurity is prevention and risk management are good things to keep in mind, like prevention, and if prevention doesn't happen, what are the next steps, which is risk management, and take action when it happens. Yeah. What is the state of the coral reefs back home in American Samoa? I think compared to places that are experiencing climate change, our corals are pretty resistant or resilient, especially on one of the islands, the Moonlight Islands, which have various studies on it that shows that they're really resilient to high temperatures. And what's the second question? Oh, what are methods to help with coral restoration? Restoration person from my town, she was working on permits and incorporating like structures that helps corals grow within the ocean. Yes, Craig. Pressure. Served after I served my time for my scholarship. Sure what happens after those years, but I am open to whatever happens. And yeah, I'm just happy up to this point, honestly, right now. Yeah, next steps can come slowly. But thank you for the question. Yes. Yes. Hmm. I think it's at a draw. It's like in the middle. It's fighting each other. I don't know which one's gonna win, but I hope to find out soon.